All right. Hello to all you hammered heads and welcome to our live show here. We're going to get started now. Kev will be joining us soon. He's having some technical difficulties, but we're getting that straightened out for him. We got a full show here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the UFC, talk a little bit about the golf that happened last weekend, talk a little bit about golf coming up this weekend. As long as Kev gets hooked back up, we're going to play Guess This Player, and we're going to do our rookie draft, which I've been having a lot of fun with this week. Really excited to bring that to you guys and see how that turns out. It should be a lot of fun. So first, talk about the UFC. I mean, a couple more really good, entertaining cards they had here. A lot of fun, a lot of big fights, a lot of big winners. And the last one on Saturday, a lot of close decisions that could have gone either way. The big winner, of course, Alistair Overeem, getting the knockout in the second round. And what a great story and fight that was. You had Walt Harris with all he's been through, laying it on the line in that fight, getting the early knockdown of Overeem. It looked like Overeem was going to be done. Questions about his chin already coming into it. And he survives. You know, the veteran move to survive, to push him away, to keep him from getting hurt worse. You know, letting the ref see that he's intelligently defending himself, survives the first round. Walt Harris may have burnt too much trying to get the knockout there. And he gets the second round, and he gets him with the big kick. He gets him down and takes him out. And then the emotional moment afterwards where, you know, Overeem is bent over talking to him, and you could hear him say in the mic, you know, let's train together after this. So just really, really amazing story out of that one. Claudia Gadelha with a big win. That was a split decision. That was one of those ones where it could have gone either way. To me, the fight of the night was on the prelims here, and it was just a absolute bloodbath between Darren Elkins and Nate Landwehr. Elkins gave it his all. Bunch of scar tissue, had him cut up. He was bleeding all over the place, but Landwehr showed me a lot. Showboating a little bit, parts of the fight. Actually had his hand behind his back for a little bit, but when you're able to back it up and win, that definitely says something. Courtney Casey also impressed me with a very quick submission victory. Miguel Beza with another quick knockout of very tough Mike Brown. Kevin and I always talk about those veteran presences. They like to put in with the new guys to see, can they hack it? Are they here to stay? And he definitely showed that he was going to be a tough out going forward. So a lot of good fights, a lot of entertaining, and they just made an announcement that they're going to have another one coming up here soon. I think it's the 30th. Double check that real quick, but I think it's the 30th. They're going to have another live event for us to watch, coming up to another pay-per-view here in June. Yeah. June 6th.
A fantastic performance for you tonight. I mean, a very, very exciting fight. Give me this feel right now. Your first UFC win, a big moment in anybody's career. What's the feel like for you right now?
Oh, man, feel good. I mean, I feel like I could just erase that first fight. I mean, that first fight was shit for me. And this is the real show that I bring to the table. You know what I mean? This is the kind of fight that I can put on for the fans.
The first fight.
Okay. So we're going to move on now. Next thing we have going is going to be a little bit of the golf. I mean, it was really exciting to see golf back. We were able to see a little bit of shot making. Was a little rough with the guys, but they got going, especially Rory, making some really great iron shots as they went through. Very entertaining. A lot of gambling on it. Really seeing a lot of that. So that was really nice to see a lot of people betting and getting excited for that. This week we got the next matchup, the match of champions, which is pitting Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning, Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. Right now, Tiger and Peyton are at minus 210 with Phil and Brady getting plus 165. I think your best bet for this is going to be some of these props. There should be some entertaining stuff. So some of the props you have, who's going to have the most birdies in the match? Tiger and Phil are both at 115. Will Tiger wear a red shirt? Yes, for minus 300. So that's pretty crazy. Lots of ones, you can do all the holes, each hole, you can pick one. Who's going to lead after 9 holes? What here will from there either head by for a baseball cap? Will Tom Brady wear a Buccaneers hat or a TB12 hat? Who's going to have the longest drive on hole 1, Peyton or Tom Brady? So there's a lot of interesting little props available if they're looking to do that. We talked a little bit about this before. Normally in these situations, your best bet is to take the plus money. You have 2 pros, they're good. You're sport here, whether you want Tiger or Phil or who's better, depends on the day. With Peyton and Brady, you have guys who are good at golf, but not at the level of these guys. Out there, they got sports with their friends. So what I would really say is take the money. However, this last week, the money went way down. So if you bet on Rory and Dustin Johnson on Tuesday when we had the podcast, they're minus 200. They came all the way down to minus 155 by the time said they rolled around. You really can get more value that way. So I think that, different options here to look at. You can wait it out. I think that's going to be my best option. Wait it out to see if that number does go down. I think I'd rather go the Tiger Peyton route. But if it's still minus 210, you got to go for Phil and Tom Brady and just take that plus money and hope that they win. I mean, it's going to be a toss-up, so either way. see here Kevin's trying to get logged back on. I'm checking with our host, and there he is.
Hey, looks like we finally got it figured out. So yeah,
Welcome aboard.
That was a bit of a disaster here to get things started for me. So, we're hopefully we can, go seamlessly from this point forward. It's that was quite a start to things. I had no internet connection up here, and that is not ideal for for what we're trying to do. So sorry for the hold up on that, guys. It's kind of a
no problem. So we went over the UFC and we just did the golf a little bit. We were just talking about the best bets for the upcoming match this weekend, talking about some of the props, talking about your strategy last week where you waited and took Dustin Johnson and Rory on Sunday and watched it kind of, I'm doing hand motions that aren't in the field of view, but, it went down as we went through and you were able to get them at a much better value and then win with the better two players there. So
right.
I don't think there's that clear definition in this because I think Tiger and Phil, again, are so close. And then you're really not sure what you're going to get out of Peyton or Tom.
Right. I mean, those two guys, you don't really know what kind of to expect out of amateur players like that. So it'll be really interesting to kind of see how that ends up, how much of an impact they have on the outcome of what's happening there. So, I haven't looked at the prices today, Tom. Did you go over them earlier?
Yep.
So what kind of price tags were we seeing?
Tiger and Payne are minus 210. Phil and Brady are plus 165.
Yeah, I mean, at that number, I would jump on the dog now because I feel like the money is going to come in on the dog. That I can't see a lot of people laying the 210. So to me, the wager is now on Phil and Brady. So later in the week, if that gets hammered down onto Sunday, it's Sunday, I think, right? This week.
Yep, Sunday.
Yeah, if it gets hammered down on Sunday, well, then you can get a chance to get them at maybe that minus 170-ish tag, and it definitely made me money on last weekend's event. So.
Yeah, and I think this format is a little more fun too. I think the best ball for the first 9 holes, and then they're going to go to an alternate shot format for the last 9. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that, go ahead.
That adds a huge variable when you've got amateurs playing and participating with in an alternate shot format. I mean, holy cow, we're talking about like anything could happen kind of thing.
Right.
Both guys seemingly have had some success in playing in some of the Pro-Am events.
Yeah. I just heard a funny exchange between Tiger and Peyton today where Tiger was questioning Peyton's handicap, and it was really funny. And Peyton's like, yeah, I'm a 4 handicap, and Tiger's like at altitude, joking back and forth about it. So, and I hope when we watched this Tiger Phil matchup last time, everyone was excited. Some of the side bets were kind of fun, but they're really quiet between the two of them throughout it. Everyone's kind of hoping that this, being a foursome, having 2 other guys out there. Hopefully it'll be more lively.
Okay, perfect. I'm just doing a little behind the scenes stuff here while we banter. So getting ready for our little head-to-head draft we're doing here tonight. So
but up first, we have Name That Player.
Oh, here we go.
And I've been waiting for my revenge of you putting me in the hot seat last week. So I'm going to do the same thing you either did intentionally or non-intentionally, where first one's probably the easiest of the 3, and it's going to get a little harder as we go. I think that just makes it, let's give you a little one that's kind of a warm-up, even though none of them will be easy when you get that, when you're on the spot.
Yeah.
So I also chose a theme, and let's see here. These are all Biletnikoff Award winners. So
right. Best wide receiver in the nation. Right.
Yes, best college wide receiver award. All right. So name this player. I'm going to read you some of this. 11-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro once, twice NFL reception leader, Biletnikoff Award, Walter Camp Award, unanimous All-American, Their career stats in the NFL: 1,378 receptions, 17,083 receiving yards, 12.4 yards per catch, and 120 touchdowns.
Okay. It's a lot of scores. Somebody who was really dominant at the college level as well. Was this player in the ACC?
No.
Okay. Was this player in the Big 12?
No.
Oh boy, I have problems.
Oh, I can add this too. They were actually a Heisman Trophy runner-up in 2003. So I'll give you a time.
Okay. So 2003, that's putting us back 17 years now. Is this player active?
Yes.
Does this player play in the NFC West?
Yes.
Is it Larry Fitzgerald?
It is Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Woo!
All right. So that's the good warm-up. Man, his numbers were nasty.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the next one. This player holds 8 NCAA records, one of only two-time winners of the Biletnikoff Award, a 2-time unanimous All-American, with a career NFL stats of 633 catches, 7,477 yards, and 54 touchdowns.
Well, this guy was really good in college and maybe a little bit disappointing at the NFL level.
You could say that.
Yeah. Is this player active?
They played last year, but are not currently on a roster. I'll say that.
Okay. Did this player play in the ACC?
No.
No. Okay. Can you read me those numbers again? The
NFL stats?
Yeah.
633 catches for 7,477 yards and 54 touchdowns.
Okay. 2-time Biletnikoff Award winner.
Yes, one of only 2 players to have won it twice.
Did this player play in the Big 12?
Yes.
All right, so we've narrowed that down a little bit. Oh, it's not the person I originally had in my mind because they didn't play last year. Boy, this is tough. Has the player ever played in a Super Bowl?
Oof. Now you're gonna make me do math. So I think it's yes, but I want to confirm before I.
Big 12.
Hold on.
All right, so you've got a Big 12 receiver that won the Biletnikoff Award twice. Twice in college. Holy cow.
I got to match up the years they were there.
Oh, yeah. This is more complex than I needed to make it, huh? Scrap that question, Tom. Don't worry about it. It's too ridiculous. It's not going to be helpful. It doesn't sound like anyways. Running down Big 12 schools in my head here. Michael Crabtree.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't think you were going to get that one for a minute.
Yeah. Oh
yes.
God. It just whizzed into my head.
The 2 people to win it twice are Crabtree and Justin Blackmon.
Oh yeah, both Big 12 receivers.
Yes, both levels of disappointment in the NFL. I mean,
Yeah.
Blackmon definitely more so, but
Right.
all right, here's the third one. Let's see, this one may be a little harder. Obviously, Biletnikoff Award winner, consensus All-American. His career NFL stats are 61 catches, 789 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Wow. Best player, best receiver in the nation in college, and basically didn't play a full season in the NFL. Boy, was this player in the SEC?
No.
Pac-12?
Nope.
Oh boy, Big 10.
Nope.
I'm using all my questions on which conference they played in.
It's a huge help, though. I noticed that when I was picking.
Were they a first-round draft pick?
Yes.
And are they currently active in the NFL?
Yes.
Okay. First-round draft pick, active in the NFL. Must be a very recent winner of the Biletnikoff Award. Doesn't play in the SEC. Oh boy. Best receiver in the nation the last 5 years or so. Jeez. I wish I knew who the Biletnikoff Award winners were in the recent years now.
I know. I wanted to pick an award too, but didn't want it to be obvious like the Heisman. I was like, I gotta think of an award that's solid,
Right.
respectable. But
Yeah. I don't know. I've used up all my questions too.
yeah,
Yeah, I give up. I concede defeat on this one.
Corey Coleman.
Corey Coleman, oh my God, Baylor.
Corey Coleman.
Yeah,
In 2015
gotten
won.
that. Yeah.
No, in 2015 he won the Biletnikoff Award and really hasn't done much since being drafted number 15 overall.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Wow.
Good pick, Cleveland. All right. So that was fun. I'm excited to see what you come up with me for next week.
Yeah,
I'm going to study some college award winners.
I think that's really fun, isn't it? I mean, we'll have to go a little deeper. Maybe we'll try to dig into some other categories. Maybe we'll do all Pac-12 players from the last decade, or something like that. It's some kind of other little award-winning type player.
Yeah. Not knowing what to expect is the fun part, it seems. So
Right. Absolutely. So
you ready to draft?
I am, Tom. Let's do this. And by random selection, you're going to get the first choice in this draft to start putting your team together. So
Yes.
we'll go ahead and get you set up here. Let me get the graphics all ready to go here. And once you make your first selection, you just go ahead and type it to me, and I'll read it off, and we'll do it just like we did the other draft.
Okay, so I thought a lot about if I had the first pick, who would I go with? And to me, it wasn't that easy to pick this time.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. But I'll let you announce it, and then I'll.
Yeah, Tom has made a selection. So, and that's the interesting thing about this is that we don't necessarily have to go like teams do with team need because we're building an entire roster.
Sure.
So Tom, with the first selection in our head-to-head draft, selects Chase Young, edge rusher from Ohio State.
Yeah. So I picked Chase Young. I think that for me, there's just such a big drop off from him and the other edge rushers.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I got him. So I'm the first pick, impact player. You're thinking wide receiver, quarterback, obviously, or maybe an edge rusher.
Yeah. So what you do is you would absolutely want to build based on where you can get the best possible player um, for that position without a huge drop off before you have to
Yeah,
select another one, because we have to pick a lot of times two at the same position. So
sure.
um, let me take a look here. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put in my pick. I
You're just gonna
have
do it.
no idea what I should do here, and I have gone ahead and made that selection.
All right. So Kevin, with the number 2 pick, has got his quarterback, and he has selected Joe Burrow.
Quarterback
A
from LSU.
little surprised, Kev. I thought you were going to keep the Tua train.
I love Tua. Don't
I
get
know
me
you do.
wrong. But if I'm drafting a team to play against you this week, I've got to go with the quarterback that's more ready to go right now. So that was kind of, I think that they're very comparable players. I think that they are, again, Tua's upside is where I think he's higher than Burrow is. So that's why I went with Burrow here. So that puts Tom on the clock for his second selection
yeah.
on this.
I'm pumped about this one. I was hoping. I mean, I figured you would go Tua. You didn't, but you still went the same position, so that helped me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I did make sure I notated which position I would have him playing because I think that matters.
Yeah. Okay. So Tom has a selection in, and it looks like Tom is going to continue rolling on the defensive side of the ball and make it really tough for me to move the ball on offense, it looks like. So he selected Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. So he's got him selected as a strong side linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to run a 4-3. That's, just it's the kind of defense I prefer in general. It's a little more traditional, but I like it. It gives you that solid upfront base. And I think Simmons able to rush the passer, able to drop back, able to kind of cover in space. I love him right there. And having two dynamic playmakers like Young and Simmons on the defense already, feeling good.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't blame you for that. And now, it forces my hand in an interesting direction here, the way that I have to make my selections, because if your defense is going to be that stout, I can't let you load up with every great defensive player.
Yeah, it puts you in do you get more offense to combat the defense, or do you try to get some defense of your own before I get them all?
Right. Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my next pick here with you.
Okay. So Kevin has made his decision, and he wants to have some defensive players. So with the 4th pick, his second, he's going to take Jeffrey Okudah, cornerback from Ohio State. Was the first corner drafted and easily the best corner in this class. Obviously, it's a solid pick for you, Kev, there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan. I think that, the best corner, and it's not really close. So I was excited to not have you take him there, although I would have loved Isaiah Simmons too. So
right.
I think this is going to tell us like where we think the strength of the class was as we go through this and try and pick the strongest players, for our own teams that we were loading up. So
yeah,
that he would plug in as a cornerback. So Tom, your selection.
All right, so now it's a little different here. I'm trying to see. You got my list here. Let's go. Let's go with this one.
All right. Tom has a selection in, and he is going to make his first offensive move of the day and select Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver from Alabama.
Yes, give me some offense. Give me somebody who's a very good route runner right away. Can make plays with the ball in his hands as well. Give me Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, that's a nice selection there. I don't think I'd have gone that early there, so I'm okay with this. I think it left the door open for me to select one of my favorite players from this draft. And I've gone ahead and sent that to you there, Tom.
Yep.
And
All right. So Kevin's selection, doubling up on the defensive side now. He's going to take Derek Brown, D tackle out of Auburn here. Yeah, I actually was debating whether to grab Judy or get Brown and just have Chase Young, Simmons, and Brown. But I feel like I like a lot of the D tackles, and I'm not as big of a fan as some of these wideouts that are going to come off here. So
yeah, absolutely. So Derek Brown, the big defensive lineman. So that's a big add for me on the defensive side of the ball. I like getting the pressure up on the interior. So, Derek Brown is the kind of player that I would want on my squad, no matter what. So I'm excited to see him kind of slot in here for me.
All right. So now I'm in a. All right. Let's see how this works. I'm looking at a couple of different positions here. I got 2 levels of my defense done. Do I go to that 3rd level and get somebody the secondary? I only have the 1 player on offense though, so I got that to weigh against it as well.
So
there we go.
Yeah, Tom's got his pick in here, and looks like a smart pick to me. He's going to select Andrew Thomas, the left tackle from Georgia, here in this spot. So Andrew Thomas plays left tackle, and he's going to be an anchor there in that spot, and it really makes it interesting for me. The thing is, I think there are enough good tackles for the 2 of us to fill left and right tackle, so I'm not super nervous about that yet. But I definitely have some other options here. Gosh, this is fun and tricky all at the same time as you look through this stuff. Did a gigantic airplane just land?
I don't know. It was loud.
Yeah. Holy moly. So I think I'm gonna go in this direction here.
Yeah, in one way, this is like a giant game of chicken. Who's going to take which position first?
Right.
Oh, yeah. All right. So Kevin has doubled up on the defense now, and tripled up 3 in a row, and gone Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah. If I'm facing a team and I got to have Derek Brown and Javon Kinlaw working the interior, both guys have, a little flexibility to move around a little bit on the D line. And I think that selection makes it so hard for you they're great. They're both great pass rushers and run defenders on the interior of a D line. And like I said, I love building a defense from the inside out. So offense and defense, really, I like building from the inside out.
All right. So I will continue my theme.
Yeah. And Tom has a selection, and it looks like he's gonna go back to the defensive side of the ball here. And he's gonna go with the defensive end from Penn State, Yetur Gross-Matos. So Tom is looking to create a lot of pressure on the quarterback, it looks like. Chase Young on one side, Gross-Matos on the other. Interesting selection, Tom. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so Chase Young brings the speed and the some power, but more of a speed finesse rusher, and Matos is more of that strong, stay at home, push bull rush defender. So I have one on each side, hoping to create some chaos in that backfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. And I'm going to go here with
all right.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so Kevin is another defensive selection for him. He is going with C.J. Henderson at corner. So you have Okudah and Henderson at corner, doubling up there.
Yeah. So, this puts me in a situation where I've got the cornerbacks that should be able to shut down the passing game for me pretty well. I'm going to rush you up inside, and I'm going to shut down the outside receivers the best I can with the two best corners in this draft. So that seems to me like I feel like the defensive players in this draft were so much better than the offensive players as we go through this and look at the players we're selecting. To me, that the defense was really top heavy.
Yeah, I think that the defensive players is top heavy because some of these positions, once you get past the top 3 or 4 at each one, there's not a lot behind it. Where the offensive positions, like you said with tackles, there's a lot of good tackles, right? There's a lot of good wide receivers. So you could wait on some of them if you need to, unless you really like someone. And
Tom's gone to another defensive player here. So
yes,
with this selection, he's going to solidify the interior of his linebacking core with Kenneth Murray, middle linebacker from Oklahoma. Plug and play linebacker right there.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that you're gonna, you'd love having him on your team. I think it's and it's an interesting position group too, as we have to draft through for interior or middle linebackers.
Yeah,
there aren't a lot of them that are really highly rated in this draft.
No, there's not a lot. And that's why I thought I put urgency on getting Murray. Obviously, in the real draft, he fell a lot further. But I think for this exercise of filling a team and a roster, middle linebacker is a very important position. So I want to make sure I have a very good, true middle linebacker who can go sideline to sideline, make plays.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So let me see, where am I going to go now? This is starting to get interesting here as I look at what I've drafted so far, and I'm so defense heavy. But again, I feel pretty good about, some of the players that are left on the offensive side. There's my selection, Tom. I got it in.
All right. So Kevin has gone back to the offensive side, has picked designated as a right tackle, Jedrick Willis Jr.
Yeah, and I like Jedrick Willis to play right tackle. I think he did it a ton in college, and he can do it comfortably at the next level. And some of the other guys that I see available at the tackle position, I think are more suited to plug in at left tackle right away. So to me, that was a good situation to get what I think is the best right tackle available in this draft.
Yeah, he's definitely played both in college. It'll be interesting to see kind of where he lines up in the pros.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like Tom has made a decision here on his backfield. And with this selection, Tom has gone with DeAndre Swift, running back from Georgia.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of DeAndre Swift, especially at the pro level. I love what he can do, and he can catch the ball. He's obviously a really good runner. So I wanted to get him, and I think of the top running backs after him, they're good, obviously. J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I just feel like DeAndre Swift can do it all, and then that's a huge thing, having him on the field for 3 downs. So
right, no doubt about it. And I think it makes a lot of sense to get somebody out there that can do everything. That's, he was by far my favorite back in the draft when it comes to the ability to do all of the things that you want. If you select, you can go with Dobbins, but he's just not as proven as DeAndre Swift is. You can go with Jonathan Taylor. He's got some fumbling issues and some miles on the tread already. So,
there's plenty of good options at running back. I think he's a little bit above everybody else with the how well-rounded his game is.
Right. Absolutely. So here is my next selection. And I think I will go with that player.
All right. So Kevin has gone back to the offense again, this time getting his first wide receiver, Henry Ruggs III, another Alabama guy. Why him over some of the other guys, Kev?
So pure speed, game-breaking ability in this spot. I think that you want to have that type of receiver on your team, and I don't see another one that I really like that does that towards, at the very top of this draft. So to me, I thought that he made a lot of sense to grab once you took Judy, who was my favorite receiver in the class.
Yeah, same here. All right. And this is a pick that I'm submitting now that I picked just because I feel like there's a bit of a drop off after this guy.
Yeah.
So I really want to get him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I liked him too. He was coming up on my list of people to select because of that exact thing. And that's Cesar Ruiz, center from Michigan. Makes a ton of sense there, Tom. I think that you made the right choice in getting him now because you wouldn't have been able to get him much later than this.
Yeah, I was worried. I actually was considering him a couple, before Swift even, and I was like,
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation when it comes to who's the best center available. It's clearly Ruiz, and then where's the next best? And that's where my problem comes in here, as I have to make a pick at that position at some point. So
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Which side of the ball do I want to go to here? I'm gonna go here.
There's two players I really want that are still on here, Kev.
Yeah,
you did not take one. No. All right. So Kevin went back and got his other tackle, and Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
So Mekhi Becton to play left tackle, Jedrick Wills Jr. at right tackle. A couple nice bookends there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, with the edge rushers that you have, I had to make sure that I got, two really good pass protectors, two guys that do the job really well. So I was happy to see that. Becton was still there because I liked him the next best. I like Tristan Wirfs too. And I think he's a natural selection for you to, plug in at right tackle perhaps, or, having gone with Andrew Thomas at left tackle already. So I kind of anticipate that one being on the board here for you still whenever you want it, pretty much. All right. My next selection.
Well, it's my turn.
Oh, yeah. What am I doing?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. So I do get one of the two I really wanted. So that's good news for me.
Yeah.
Spell his name correctly. Don't want to offend anybody here. There we go.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Tom has made his selection, and he's going to go back to defense here, and he is going to select Xavier McKinney, safety from Alabama. Tom, will he play strong safety or free safety for you?
So I think, like most modern safeties, I have a little bit of each. He'll be more of the strong safety, though.
More of the strong safety coming down into the box and making plays.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially if I get who I want as my other safety.
Yeah. All right. So my selection now, and I am going to go. Wow, it gets a lot trickier here as you get down the line a little bit, as far as who to select. But
it's the gamemanship part of it is really taking place at this point. It is. All right, Tom's taking this in this position. I really need to get this and this.
Right. Yeah.
Where can I push this off to?
Yeah, and I guess I have no choice here but to look to maybe see if I can create some pressure here, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is with the two guys I've taken, this is a no-brainer pick for you and a good one. Kevin has gone with Clavon Chason to rush the passer a little bit for you.
Yeah. You went big on the edge rushers, and Chason, I think, has a ton of upside. So I think that he was the natural fit for me here in this spot to select as an edge rusher. So that puts you back on the clock. Actually, Tom, before you pick, let's do a little recap here. We
Okay.
got some graphics we'll pull up and we'll see where we stand with our rosters right now. I've got it broken down. Thanks to my wonderful fiance, Stephanie. She's creating these graphics with the offense for Tom. So here's Tom's offensive selections thus far. And you'll see how I labeled them, Tom, when I put this together. You can certainly make adjustments to that. I have one listed as a utility player in case you wanted to
Sure.
go with like a second tight end or a second running back,
Sure.
or a third wide receiver.
I think we all know which way I'm going.
Yeah. And then we've got, let's take a look at my offense so far. And so I've gone with a couple of tackles and Ruggs and Burrow thus far on my offense. And then Tom's defense, we've got here for you. And Tom's defense looks pretty good right now. A couple of really good edge rushers, a couple of linebackers that are going to be dangerous. So
Yeah.
I did put a nickel in there, Tom. Feel free to add a third linebacker if that's what you
Yeah.
choose. Or
And just Jerry Jeudy is missing from my offense.
Oh, Jerry Jeudy on your offense. Yeah. We'll adjust that. Now let's take a look at my defense. And I've gone Derek Brown, Javon Kinlaw.
That D line's coming together.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Who's that complimentary edge rusher going to be? I guess right now is the only thing I feel like I'm missing there on that side. So
when I was doing this, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but when I was doing my list, getting my list together, there were 3 obvious DNs for me. And then after that, the 4th DN could have been one of like 6 different guys. So I'm really excited to see who you come up with as your 4th DN.
Yeah.
Maybe after you pick, I'll share with you who I came up with and see.
Right. Yeah.
But it was definitely you got Young, Matos, and Chason. I think in any order you really want. With after Young, I thought Chason and Young together were kind of the same.
Right.
But after that, it gets really wide open. So
yeah, it's like who's going to be that last one that I go with here? I'm just not really sure right now. There are so many different options to look at. So, my head's still spinning here, really looking at it, to be honest with you. You're on.
It might be the hardest pick.
Thank God you're on the clock. Now you've just gone and distracted me, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with my next selection.
Well, my selection's in. So.
Oh, your pick is in. Oh, and Tom has gone with another linebacker, and that is going to be Patrick Queen playing on his weak side here.
Oh, man. I love these linebackers.
Yeah, your linebackers are nasty, and now I've got problems because the linebackers that are left to choose from are not good, and Patrick Queen's where I was going to go next to make sure that I filled that gap. Yeah, that really throws a wrench in things for me. And,
you're welcome.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can put that in that you can change that to another linebacker. So, I'm going to go in this situation. Boy, oh boy. This is so hard to do. It's unbelievable. It's way more difficult than you might think as you get this far down. And I'm going to go ahead and take to buy me some time, buddy.
All right.
I was going to take here anyway. So.
All right. So Kevin went and got his running back with Jonathan Taylor, and same question as before. Kev, why him over some of the other guys available?
Yeah, based on the style of offense that I want to see here. I love, first off, Mekhi Becton's a road grader at left tackle. I plan to, kind of continue that theme a little bit along the way. So,
sure.
Power run, kind of play action attack and hit the deep stuff over the top. I think that Burrow has the capability to do all of that stuff. And that's why Taylor made all the sense in the world for me as the starting tailback.
All right. There's 2 guys I'm thinking about taking right now. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
All right. Selections in. Tom just went in because I talked about getting a road grading offensive line. He went and decided to select one himself, which is probably a guy that I would have looked to plug in that spot. But Tom's gone with Damian Lewis to play his left guard spot, which I think Damian Lewis played primarily right guard in college, but I'm sure he can plug into either one of those positions. So good selection there, Tom. Tell me about him.
Yeah, I mean, he was my top rated guard. So being able to get him and put him right next to Ruiz, it's a really strong point up the middle. Andrew Thomas, Damian Lewis, Cesar Ruiz, left to right on the offensive line so far.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And your offensive line is really shaping up, which it needed to based on the guys that I was drafting as well. So, I think that made a lot of sense to go there. And as you look down the line here at the power rankings or whatever you might be using, looking for interior offensive linemen at this point really gets kind of sparse. You've selected some really good ones.
Yeah.
And it'll make it tough on me to kind of plug in those spots, but I'm going to have to do it here. And I'm going to go with that selection.
All right. So Kevin is getting a guard as well, and he's going to plug in Jonah Jackson at right guard.
Yeah. That, just it makes sense behind Damian Lewis.
He was my next guard on my list too, so makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I liked him there in that spot. So, and now, I feel like I can go a bunch of different directions with the next guard selection and be okay. But I really wanted to get Jackson here in this spot, and there's a couple other players I'm not going to disclose that I really like coming up. So, who you got for me, Tom?
I just typed a player's name out and then backed them out to put somebody else.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And Tom is going to go back to the offensive side of the ball now, and he is going to go ahead and make the selection of CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Nice select. Judy and Lamb, huh?
Yeah. Can you do me a favor and have Lamb in the utility? I'm going to have him as my slot guy.
He's going to be your slot receiver in the utility position. Okay. All right. We can go ahead and do that. All right. Let me go ahead and make a selection then. Tom's kind of forcing my hand back in another direction now.
It's the fun of this.
Making me go sideways here. And I am going to put in my pick now to you, Tom.
Oh, yeah. I was waiting for you to make this pick, to be honest with you. I knew it was coming at some point. Kevin has taken Justin Jefferson, wide receiver. Kevin, you've been a huge fan of Jefferson pretty much through his whole draft process and love where he was picked to go. So this does not surprise me at all. Tell me a little bit about why you're such a big fan.
I think Justin Jefferson has all the requisite tools to be the best receiver in this draft. I'm not sure that he's ready to produce at that level that Judy. I think Judy is more refined. I think Ruggs is faster, but I think that Jefferson gives you a combination of all of those things, and he always wins those one-on-one balls. If you go back and watch in the college football playoff, he just had such an unbelievably dominant performance against Oklahoma. He's just so incredibly fun to watch. His relationship with Joe Burrow made this a no-brainer selection for me. So that chemistry, I think, played a little part, and another reason I wanted to select him here. So Tom has gone ahead and made another selection here, and he has gone out and picked his right guard, and that is John Simpson. Tom, why John Simpson?
I like his pass protection, to be honest with you. It's my biggest thing. Obviously he's good at run blocking. Most of these guys at this level are going to be very good at run blocking, right? But his feet, his ability to pass protect, I think separate him from some of these other guards that are in this area. There's 3 or 4 that I think make sense for this pick that I made, and then your next guard pick. So to me, the reason I put him above, I think he's just a little quicker with his feet, better pass protector.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think, and that's a good situation. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Let me take a look here at where I want to go now. it's so interesting as you try to make a selection of how you want to do things on the back end of your defense is where my mind is right now. And I've gone ahead and put in a pick.
All right. Kevin has gone with free safety, Antoine Winfield Jr., who it looks like took one pick too late.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where you were going, Tom?
Yeah, I wanted him there.
Yeah.
I wanted him at free safety specifically, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a ball hawk. I think he makes all the sense in the world. You know, at the back end of any defense, I think he can immediately step in and be a huge asset to those teams. So excited to watch him play at the next level. This is where it gets hard, right, Tom? Looking at the holes that we need to fill.
Yeah, I'm caught between two guys right now. I'm going to do this one because I think I got a better option if you snag the other guy.
All right. And Tom goes ahead and puts in his pick, and he's going to go with the athletic freak, Kyle Duggar. Free safety, comes out of Lenore Rhine. Athletic. Your safeties are super athletic on this defense. So,
yeah.
You know, you've got McKinney, who was great down in the box. He can do everything as an all-around safety. And you got Duggar. I think you can kind of rotate those guys around. You don't even really have to label them strong safety, free safety.
Yeah, being a Bills fan, I've seen the advantages of having two safeties who can do a little bit of everything. They kind of do that in Buffalo with Poyer and Hyde. There's not really one a strong or free. I guess, Micah would be considered the strong safety type, but they both do a little bit of everything. And it's confusing when you're a quarterback trying to figure out who's doing what here.
Absolutely. Tom, I feel like I got to go and get myself another edge rusher here. And
it'll happen at some point. This is one of the picks I'm excited to see. I can't wait to see your edge rusher and your next guard. I'm intrigued.
Based on the stuff that we've talked about, everybody's going to know kind of who some of the guys are that I really like. But
sure,
this is the direction that I'm going to go.
Oh, yeah. So Kevin went with Zach Bond, edge out of Wisconsin. I was wondering what you were going to do with him. I thought that once I kind of took some of the linebackers, I didn't know if you'd put him at a true linebacker spot or if you're going to put him on edge, but I kind of knew you were going to take him at some point here.
Yeah, I decided to, use him as an edge rusher in this spot because I think that's where his best skill set lies. I think that he has an opportunity to, particularly with a defense that I'm trying to build from inside out, where you've got that great interior. I think that Zach Bond fits really well at getting upfield, trying to create pressure on the edges. With Chason with all that speed on the other side, Bond's not exactly a super speed guy, but I kind of like that selection. So.
All right, let me go with
excuse me.
That's one that we know is coming at some point, so let me just do it.
Yeah, Tom has finally made the selection of his right tackle, and he's going to go with Tristan Wirfs, and that should be to no one's surprise, right?
Yeah, I mean he's big, he's physical, he's kind of perfectly sized for right tackle. I feel like with him and Thomas bookending Lewis, Ruiz, Simpson, it's a really good offensive line. So
yeah. Boy, I've really been put in a bad spot here for one particular position, and I'm having a hard time with it. And I don't really know what to do. All right, I'm gonna go here because I have to. Yeah, let's take a quick second here, and before I make my next selection, let's take a moment and talk about everything that we've been doing with the website, hammeredsportspod.com.
Yeah.
We're excited about having the website and the ability for people to get the podcast immediately and get everything all the content that we're creating for you. We've been, producing some winners. It's been a decent run for us here, Tom. And
absolutely.
personally, I've had a lot of luck in last minute wagering. I maybe should start tweeting out some more of that stuff because I've been hitting a lot of UFC winners. My UFC success rate has been crazy lately. So
yeah, one of the best parts about the website is anything we share on social media polls right there, right? So when Kevin sends out a tweet about a winner, or every UFC day I send out my DraftKings lineup. That will be right on the website. You'll be able to see it right there on the website. You can sign up to get alerts when the next podcast is available. So a lot of help to keep in touch with Hammered Sports.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're excited about everything that's going on. So as sports begin to come back to us, there's a lot more for us to talk about, a lot more for us to share, a lot more gambling opportunities, which, we really want to sink our teeth into. So
absolutely.
I'm pretty excited about, the stuff that's coming up again here with more golf and more UFC. And, I even bet on some NASCAR this past weekend, believe it or not.
Disgusting. Sounds like baseball's coming back at some point here too. So
yeah, and thanks to Lion Global for helping us put this on tonight again. They're doing an amazing job. Tom and his team putting this together for us, and Stephanie, my fiance, for the work with the graphics.
Absolutely,
it's really been really helpful for these guys to pull together for us when we want to do these live shows, because it's tough to do as a one or two man show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So Kevin, while all that was going on, you were able to make a selection here. Yeah. You were going to address some more linebacker help. You were going with Shaq Quarterman.
Yeah.
Inside linebacker.
Yeah, I had to get one here. And the inside linebacker options are not great at this point. Because I thought the two, Queen and Murray, were far and above, the best in the class. And Quarterman, I thought, fits perfectly into a interior inside linebacker role. So I had to go ahead and pull the trigger on him.
All right. So I'm ready to add another weapon to this offense.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Tom's going in an interesting direction with Michael Pittman Jr.
Yes.
Wide receiver from USC. You're higher on Pittman than I am, I think, huh, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a few things about Pittman I like. I like his route running. He's got good hands. He's got ideal size. He's one of these wide receivers I feel like could be better as a pro than he was in college. He might be getting in a better situation. His time at USC, multiple quarterbacks, even in the same season. So a little bit of inconsistency there. So I think maybe with his skill set, he's going to jump up. And I love the combination, right? I got Jerry Jeudy on one side, Pittman on the other, and CeeDee Lamb running out of the slot. So I like the size of Pittman, the route running of Jeudy and Pittman, and then CeeDee Lamb in the middle.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and make a selection here. And it was not popular on draft night. We'll see.
You picked my boy.
Yeah.
That's not cool, man.
Yeah.
So Kevin picked my boy, Damon Arnett, to be his nickel corner. It was not popular on draft night. And we were probably one of the only ones to have him picked as high as he actually went. Right. So we're definitely proud to tout that as all these pundits were saying, oh, I didn't have him that high. Well, Tom and Kevin did, and so did the Oakland Raiders. So
Las
Vegas.
Every week one of us does it.
Las Vegas Raiders, yeah.
Every week one of us does
they had them as high as we did, so it's nice to see.
Yeah. And to me that rounds out my secondary really well. When talking about adding that nickel, you've got Arnett, Henderson, and Okudah as my guys that can play corner, and I think that Henderson can probably play a little slot, a little nickel as well. So I like what I did there.
All right.
Tom has a selection, and he is going to select what by many is the best tight end in this draft, and that is Cole Kmet from Notre Dame.
Yeah, Cole Kmet. It's a little bit of a homer pick. I loved him as an Irish fan. He was a little bit of a typical tight end. He can run up the seam and make make catches that way. He's really good on third downs. He can block a little bit. So he'll be a nice addition to the rest of that fun offense of Judy, Pittman, Lamb, and DeAndre Swift in the backfield.
Tom, we're down to the nitty gritty here, man. Let's take
Yeah,
a
we
look and
are.
see where both of our teams stand here.
Let's take a peek.
Get everybody a look and see how our teams are shaping up. So Tom needs a quarterback on offense, and that's it. So I would assume he's going to plug in Herbert or Tua there. And then on offense for myself, I've still got a little work to do up front. But I like some of the pieces that I have in place. And then Tom on defense, he's got to shore up those corners and interior defensive linemen here at this point. And for myself, I need a safety and another linebacker. So, and I've got another safety in mind that I'm excited about. So, what the heck, we're at this point in the draft. Might as well just start plugging those holes, right? We don't really have common ones at this point. So we can kind of just free ourselves up to make the selections that we want to make and not worry about you taking them out from under me or vice versa, right?
Yeah, we should be good at this time.
Yeah, so I'm going to go in this direction.
All right, so he did pick another safety, and he picked Jeremy Chinn. So my first question is, why Chinn over Grant Delpit, Kev?
I think Delpit's more of that free safety type than the strong safety type. I like Chinn to get down in the box and be athletic and make big plays and big hits. And, I think that his physical attributes are a little bit better than Delpit's are. And I think Antoine Winfield plays more of the similar position as Delpit.
Sure. Let's see here. I need two of them, so I might as well take one.
Yeah, so Tom has gone ahead and put in his pick, and he's going to get one of his corners here at this point, and he will go with A.J. Terrell from Clemson.
Yeah, I think that so when I was doing my list of who I wanted to draft, there was two positions I felt comfortable waiting on. It was corner and D tackle. I think after Okudah, I feel like there's 4 or 5 corners that are in that next group. Okudah is clearly higher to me than the rest of them, but I felt there was 4 or 5 there that I liked. And then I kind of felt the same way at D tackle. Derek Brown, in a way, the best. And then I felt like there's 3 or 4 after that I would be very happy to get. So I kind of waited on both of them. I like A.J. Terrell. I think he's I think he's a good corner. He competes. He's played in big games. So. And you have put in your pick already here, Kevin. Yeah. And this is another Kevin pick. You're a big fan, and it is Matt Hennessy, center out of Temple.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hennessy is a
great drink.
Yeah, it is. And Matt Hennessy, I think, is very versatile, very much fits the mold of what we're trying to do here. So I'm excited about having Matt Hennessy plug into that center spot. He was my next choice. Lloyd Cushenberry was another option for me at the center position. But I think Hennessy brings a little more versatility than Cushenberry does.
Yeah, I had Cushenberry. If I wasn't able to get Ruiz, I was going to take him.
Yeah.
The Cush.
Yeah. So Tom has made his next selection, and he's got to fill that other corner position. And he's going to do that with player out of TCU, Jeff Gladney.
Yeah, Jeff Gladney.
How do you feel?
So I like Gladney. I was actually watching some Oklahoma State footage this week, as I was telling Kev, and they played TCU, and Jeff Gladney just kept flashing. I remember watching him for the draft. He was solid, but he just kept flashing, making big plays. So something just kind of, he's been stuck in my mind ever since then. So I get Gladney as my number 2 corner there on the other side of Terrell. And Kevin, as these picks are starting to come fast and furious now, guys, there's no more coyness. We know who we each need, and we're going for it. So Kevin has already put in his guard, Robert Hunt. Love this guy.
Yeah. This is another mauler, and the reason I plugged him in at left guard there, he's probably going to get a shot at tackle with the Dolphins. More than likely, he played some tackle in college. People think that he might fit the mold better as a guard, but can you imagine Robert Hunt and his demolition man style paired next to Mekhi Becton on the left side of an offensive line?
Yeah, they're big physical guys on the same side there.
Yeah, it's absolutely a very fun left side of that offensive line. Now I feel a lot better about it now that it's all in order. I was thinking about it earlier, like, oh God, I got the 2 tackles, but what else? So Tom's got his next selection in, and he's going to go with Justin Matabuke, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. Tell me about Matabuke.
Yeah, Matabuke is nice. Definitely pushes the pocket from the inside, gets after it. He's one of those guys that has the never give up on a play kind of mentality. Like I said, there's 5 defensive tackles that I would have been happy with. So that's why I kind of waited to take my 2. I wanted Brown early, but once you had him, I was like, okay, I'm waiting towards the end to take my other guys. So, and Kevin, this was a guy on my list as well that you just picked up. Kevin went with another linebacker to fill out his linebackers with Willie Gay Jr. Go ahead.
Mississippi State, really solid player. He almost slipped off my mind here when I was going through my list. I forgot that I hadn't selected him yet, and I needed another linebacker. So I thought Willie Gay is a really, we got Willie Gray Jr. up there, which might be like
Abbott's
Freudian slip. I don't know, something like that. So we got Willie Gay, and he's going to plug in at linebacker for me alongside Quarterman, and I don't feel as bad about the linebackers as I once did.
All right.
So Tom is going to go ahead and put in his final interior defensive lineman selection, it looks like here. And I knew that this guy had to be coming for you because this is somebody that you've loved all along, all through the draft process. You've talked about him way more than I expected, and that's Ross Blacklock, defensive tackle from TCU. So you've got a couple of TCU guys here together near the end of the draft.
Yeah, let me get some of that defense. Horned Frogs. Jerry Hughes, what's up?
Yeah.
I think Blacklock is in the same kind of mold as Matabuke. And in the top 5 of these guys, I had Brown, Kinlaw, Matabuke, Blacklock, and then Nelvin Gallimore was the other guy that I didn't have to pick, but he was right there. I think all these guys are going to be great pros. We talked about it when we did our draft. All these guys get after the quarterback. All these guys can absorb double teams, split double teams, are good against the run. As everyone's talking about the wide receivers, I think 10 years from now, we'll look back and be like, wow, a lot of good D tackles came out of that draft.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's we've talked about how much we love the D tackles in this draft, and more than most people did. So it's going to be fun to see where these players end up down the line. And I'm gonna go ahead and make my utility selection here now, which is going to be a third wide receiver for me.
So Kevin is taking Brandon Ayuk. Funny enough, I had CeeDee Lamb as my slot receiver, and if I couldn't get him, I had Brandon Ayuk as well. I think he's perfect for a slot guy. Quick, runs the ball, runs great with the ball in his hands after he did the catch. What made him jump out to you, Kev?
Well, I think it was all about getting a unit together that I like the looks of all 3 receivers that are on the field together. And I have Ruggs, Jefferson, and Ayuk now as my receivers, and I feel like that those 3 pair they really group well together. You've got the blazing speed in Ruggs that you've got to worry about, the route running and the ball fighting. I can go up and get it guy and Justin Jefferson. And Ayuk, who can fill into that slot role and make plays, and he's pretty good after the catch too. So,
and this is my last pick, so I guess I should pick a quarterback.
Yeah. So Tom is going to select a quarterback here in this spot.
The exact opposite of how most people would put this together. I'm taking quarterback last. Yeah.
I mean, once it didn't matter. There were 2, I thought, at the top of this draft, and we were each going to get one. And to me, I think it made sense. So Tom has gone with Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. So some of the things about Tua that actually work out well for my offense, I think when you look at it, the 3 wide receivers, the 1 tight end, DeAndre Swift. We're probably going to, run a little bit of that shotgun quick passing, and that's what he's good at. So I think those traits really translate well for the offense that we've put together. So, and Kev pick Adam Troutman, the tight end out of Dayton. And Kevin, he was my backup plan if you took Cole Kmet before me. So,
yeah, I mean, I know that obviously Kmet was going to be the homer pick for you, but Adam Troutman was my top tight end on the board. So for me, once you went Kmet, I was happy to get Troutman. Yep. I think that he's going to be a good player at the next level. So I was excited to see him.
I love his fit in the Saints offense too, because they'll split him out a lot and he'll be in the slot or that big slot, difficult matchup. Yeah. He's just a great spot for him to be for his career.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at our teams, Tom, and
let's do it
and see how we did. So, first up, we've got Tom's offense, and you've got a pretty good line there in front of you. Tua taking the snaps, DeAndre Swift, Pittman, Judy, and Lamb as your wide receivers, and Cole Kmet at tight end. So, pretty solid unit there, Tom.
Thanks.
What do you like most about it?
Thanks. What'd you think of my offense? Most about it, I just love I love that I was able to get a bunch of the offensive linemen I wanted. I think Andrew Thomas was my number 1 tackle. Ruiz is my number 1 center. Lewis was my number 1 guard. I was able to get all of them. I was able to get my number 1 wideout in Judy, number 1 running back in Swift, number 1 tight end. Love that. And I love the group of Judy and Pittman on the outside, CeeDee Lamb on the slot. I really like that dynamic.
What do you wish you could have done differently?
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Burrow over Tua would probably. Honestly, everything else. I got my 2 tackles I wanted. The one I didn't get for the offensive line is I wanted Jonah Jackson instead of John Simpson. But
yeah. All right, now let's take a look at my offense here. So I'm at Jedrick Wills, Jonah Jackson, Matt Hennessy, Robert Hunt, Mekhi Becton up front, Troutman at tight end, Burrow at quarterback, Jonathan Taylor running the ball, Ruggs, Jefferson, and Ayuk at the receivers. So what do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think I like Jonathan Taylor running behind this big offensive line. I think that's definitely something that you'll have to pay attention to when you're playing. If you're playing this offense, when you're playing, you got Taylor running behind that offensive line, and then you got Henry Ruggs taking the top off the defense. So it's definitely something you'd have to make sure you're prepared for. You can't cheat and bring both safeties down. With Ruggs there. So.
Yeah, I wish that I would have been able to. I mean, I like Jonah Jackson. I wish I would have been able to get Damian Lewis.
Yeah.
I like the 2 tackles that I have. And the receivers really kind of fell to me exactly how I wanted them to fall in this draft. I would have loved to have Jerry Jeudy, but I mean, what were the odds I was going to get everything I wanted? So
right, exactly.
Let's take a look at Tom's defense.
Yeah, this is the group I'm super happy about. I love the 2 edge rushers. I think they're great. I was able to wait and get 2 interior defensive linemen I love, and the 3 linebackers, Simmons, Murray, and Queen, is just ridiculous amount of talent there. And then the 2 athletic guys at safety. I'm just love this group.
Yeah. So did I fill every position on defense too? I did. Yeah. Oh, I went with a nickel corner instead of a third linebacker. Yeah, I went 4-2-5. That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the only maybe questionable point is the corners, because they down the line a little bit. AJ Terrell is a question mark. I think Gladney's going to be good. But I think that's the only spot that I see that I'm not like, oh my God, that defense is insane.
Yeah.
Now let's look at my defense here. And so my regret is clearly the linebacker position. But I don't feel all that bad about it in a 4-2-5 set. I think that those guys all make sense. Crazy interior pass rush, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Brown and Kinlaw are nasty, especially thinking about them being on the same team.
Yeah.
I think Yeah, I think linebacker obviously, and then that second edge with Zach Bond. I think him and Chasen kind of bring you the same vehicle, the speed kind of rusher. So
Yeah.
but
Real concerning about setting the edge against the run.
Yeah, but your corners again. I mean, Okudah and Henderson are really good. I've loved Damon Arnett this whole process, and been bothering you about him as well. So
right, and I like Jeremy Chin sliding down into the box as a as a helper. When you've got that group of cover men, I feel good about bringing heat with the safety. So I think that can create some more versatility to that defense. So man, this exercise was fun, wasn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it was a good time. I love putting, there's a couple things playing when you're doing it that maybe you don't understand until you actually get into the process. You obviously have to rate the players. Who do I think is the best at quarterback and this and that. But then you have to get them to kind of mold together. And that's kind of where some of those mixing and matching and what positions do I want to let slide? Where do I really need to be aggressive? I knew right away that I hated the linebackers after the top four. Yeah. So I really hammered them early, which – when I wanted 3 linebackers, I wanted to run a 4-3. I needed some linebackers. So
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, boy, this I've really enjoyed the show. Again, follow us on Twitter at hammered_sports, Hammered Sports Podcast on Facebook, hammeredsportspod.com. Visit our friends over at Lion Global for any of your business needs. Those guys can help you out. They do amazing stuff for us. As you guys can see, they produce amazing content for us. These things they would be nothing like this if it weren't for Lion Global. So huge shout out to those guys. And check out Rachel, Buffalo Dietitian. She's constantly posting great stuff, and now she's got baby Theo in the house, so she's got posts about all kinds of stuff that are fun out there. So check her out as well. Thanks again for everything, guys. I had a great time. Tom, what do you got to add?
Nothing. It was great. Looking forward to talking to you guys next week. We'll see what's live and what's action. We know we got some UFC to talk about and some golf recap. So until then.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a great time.